sparkling jewel in South Bend, Indiana is a cradle of football memories. Home to the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Their legend lives in the immortal names. Coach Knute Rockne, a storied backfield known as the Four Horsemen. It's a brand of pageantry that simply means tradition. The Fighting Irish have evolved into college football's most famous team, and today they hope to write another chapter. The Miami Hurricanes are the nouveau riche of college football. They are the team of the 80s, winning 2 national championships in the last 5 years. They are still #1, and today they will take on all of Notre Dame's tradition and seek their 37th straight regular season victory. 2 teams, 2 eras are about to clash. #1 Miami plays #4 Notre Dame on CBS. CBS welcomes you to the biggest game so far of the 1988 college football season. #1 Miami and unbeaten Notre Dame. When you come to Notre Dame to play football, you dream of Saturday afternoons like this. Gorgeous weather, the Golden Dome sparkling in the background, sellout crowd at Notre Dame Stadium. And when you play football at Miami, these are the kind of games you can't wait to play. Inside the stadium, it's the toughest ticket in sport this weekend. All morning long, fans have been milling around outside Notre Dame Stadium. Actually, ever since last year when Miami beat Notre Dame 24-0 down in the Orange Bowl, here in South Bend and throughout the Midwest, Notre Dame fans have been waiting for this rematch. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I'm Brent Musburger. You really don't have to build this one up very much, do you? You know how high the stakes are. Miami to win back-to-back national championships needs this one. Notre Dame to get back to the top, they have to beat the Hurricanes. You also know that there have been hostilities between these 2 schools, bad feelings. They feel Miami ran up the score. And, of course, Miami reacting angrily the way Jimmy Johnson's telephone number was published. Short time ago, the coaches meeting at midfield, shaking hands. We thought the hostilities had died. But then, as the Hurricanes were leaving the field, an ugly few moments down there in the end zone. Pushing and shoving broke out. There was some kicking. Police had to step in, and finally the Hurricanes were escorted back inside their locker room. So I guess we can truthfully say, as we get ready for this game, these 2 teams still don't like each other.
My freshman redshirt year, we got pounded by Miami 58-7. And I remember Terry Andresiak, our backup quarterback, Terry, walking across the field and said, "We're going to have our day to get back at you, Jimmy Johnson." And he said, "You know, just take it for what it is." And so I never forgot that.
Here's Price, 5 yards to the goal line and a touchdown.
He will throw here. He's got his man, Andre Brown, and he is short of the goal line. No, they rule it, he's in.
It was like a heavyweight battle. I mean, these were 2, prepared football teams that hated each other.
Split, Rice back to throw. Deep drop looks. Is it going to be a screen? No, throwing long. Trying to get it to Ishmael. Long downfield. Got it. Good. And he falls out at the 25-yard line.
Gary, and he is stopped. Leading the defense with Pritchett.
I realized I had broken my hand, and I remember looking at it, and I couldn't feel it. So I knew I was pretty fired up. I called the trainer over. I said, "Tape my fingers together." I broke my hand. I never even looked at it. He taped my fingers. I ran back in. And, I ended up having 15 tackles in that game.
Play action fake, back to throw. A lobber to Conley's going to be picked off. It's Carroll at the 50, Carroll to the 40, Carroll to the 30, Carroll to the 20. He's got to beat Walsh. He's at the 10, 5, touchdown Irish.
Frank Stam's got a good tip on the ball, and I was able to step in front of, I think, Cleveland Gary maybe, and pick it off, and I went 65 yards for a touchdown.
First down. Conley going for the corner. Touchdown Miami. Walsh pulls it out. Has protection. There it is. Cleveland Gary for the touchdown.
I said, "We're going to find out whether they think they can win if we make them flinch."
He has the wind at his back. And they go to the short man on the fake. The fake punt. First down Notre Dame.
They ran a fake punt, and it was not successful. and to the players, they flinched.
Gives it to Eilers. Eilers is down to about the 2. Touchdown! Pat Eilers for a score! Brown wide to the right, Dawkins out to the left. Back to throw, setting up. Walsh looking to the near side. The pass is caught. Touchdown to Andre Brown. They're going to go for 2. Back to throw. Walsh looks. Has the time. Lost the ball. The pass is batted down. It's batted
The ball went up, and I happened to be in the right spot and was able to make a big play. So many people were integral on that play. You look at George Williams, the rush that he gave. Without that, Steve Walsh could have found any receiver quick. Back when I made that play, I believe our stadium's, the capacity was about 59,000. But I probably to date have met about 80,000 people that were sitting right in that corner when I made that play.
This was won by the Notre Dame Spear. This game was won by the Notre Dame Spear. Final score, Notre Dame 31 in Miami, 30 in South Bend, Indiana.
I've never put a lot of stock in being number 1 because I hadn't been there before. And then to play very poorly and beat Navy and be elevated to number 1 because another team lost, I didn't think meant that you're a great football team. But it's very difficult to remain number 1. And one of the reasons is because people feel that they have to perform like a number 1 team, and yet nobody can tell me what a number 1 team is. Everybody feels they got to score 2 touchdowns on 1 play, or nobody should make a yard against you. So when you really sit down and analyze it, being number 1 wasn't any different. Touchdown only counted 6 points, not 8. You had to make 10 yards, not 9 for a first down. If you fumbled and they recovered, you didn't get it back. All of a sudden, when you look into it, you find out there isn't any advantage at all to being number 1, and it's strictly mental. So all we said to the football squad is if they were right, they wouldn't have to vote every week. I wasn't any different, and I wasn't Barry Switzer. They weren't looking at a football coach that's used to being number 1 each and every week. But let's just make sure we're the best football team in the stadium on Saturday.
Visitors impressively rolled 70 yards for an early field goal before Ragib Ismail took matters into his own
And
hands.
let's see, will Johnson take it? Ismail says, no, I will. At the 13, 15, 20, 25, 30, look out. At the 40, he's the man to beat. He's going to go all the way. He's down to the 40. He's at the 30. He can run to the 20, walk at the 10, and dance in for a touchdown.
Ismail's early salvo marked the first Notre Dame score in an effort that befitted the number 1 ranked team.
It was kind of a little squib kick. And I can remember before we went onto the field, Coach was telling everyone on the team that no matter how they kicked it, he wanted me to handle the ball. And it was just a situation where everyone was again blocked and no one really was in position to make a tackle on me. And I saw a hole off to my left, I believe. And I just tried to get to it as fast as I could, and the whole sideline was cleared. And I tried to run as fast as I could to reach the end zone.
Goes at the 10. He is gone. Touchdown.
Ismail's 2 scoring runbacks in a game tied an NCAA record.
Southern California will receive the kickoff.
As had become the pattern, the unbeaten Notre Dame team of 1988 came to Los Angeles to close out the season and prove to the nation who the best team in the country was.
And there's not a bigger game out there than Notre Dame, USC, number 1, number 2. Winner of that game goes for the national championship.
My senior year, we're getting our butts handed to us in the first half.
They were a big team. They were a well-coached team.
We were 10-0. They were 10-0. Said, look, these guys are gone. The next guy up, it's got to pick up the slack. You got to jump higher. You got to run faster.
And we're walking through the tunnel, and we get to the tunnel, and the USC players and coaches are singing our fight song and kind of mocking us. And that woke us up, and that was a bad idea.
I didn't have to worry about anything. Rodney Peete had all the pressure on him, and that was so good about playing against those other top-ranked quarterbacks that it made my job look easy. The only thing I had to do was go out there and secure the ball, make sure I don't turn the ball over, make sure I put my team in the right situation as far as play calling, and everything would take its course.
Rice on the option, carrying for the first time to the 40, to the 45, down the sideline, at the 40, at the 30, at the 20. He could go all the way to 10 to 5. Touchdown, Irish.
If you look at that run, just like it was just yesterday. You got the offensive line doing a great job up front, and Anthony Johnson went to the left-hand side, did a great fake that took some people out of the equation, and Mark Green. Now, Mark Carrier, who is playing for USC, has either me or Mark to take, so he decides to take Mark instead. So I'm going down the sideline. I have one guy to beat. And I'm just thinking, don't let him catch me. I'm scared of getting hit. Run. So when I did that, and I didn't look behind, but I looked to the right and I saw Mark Green just running up close to me. I was like, whoa, I thought I was fast, but Mark Green is even faster than me.
This has been a game of turnovers and defense. Well, this figures to be a testing series now for a very sore Rodney Peete. The Irish are executing beautifully. And Green's got a touchdown. Manuel over the top. Knocked him back. Get it. Peete swings it out. He's wrestled down at the 10. Right out left. Throws the ball right over the middle. The pass is intercepted. Picked off by the Irish. It's Magana. Magana to the 30. To the 20. He's down to the 10. To 5. A touchdown. That's Magana. Picked up Rodney Peete and returns it for a score.
You know, it was a hot day. We came to play. There's no question.
We had a great defense. They couldn't get past our defense.
Lou's team did not need more motivation. Beating Southern Cal that day would propel the Irish to their 11th consensus national title.
The national championship, 1988, Notre Dame versus West Virginia. Major Harris had a major breakdown because our defense took care of him.
I remember it was a tough-fought battle. We came there, we knew what we had to do, and we watched, before that game, the night before the game, we watched Patton at the hotel. I'll never forget that. And they're watching that movie before the game. You know what was the interesting thing about that game is the practices leading up to the game. Because I remember we were in the Loftus facility before we went home for Christmas. We had that week of practice, and I remember them pumping in the West Virginia fight song in the Loftus. So much as we couldn't hear each other. Wes Pritchard was making fun of it. It was hilarious. But we had some knockdown, drag-out practices leading up to the game, the actual game, and it's just the way that we were prepared for the game, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
They were playing man-to-man, and I never knew by playing the man-to-man that I would have 7 passes completed out of 11 for 213 yards, and knowing that man-to-man, I couldn't miss that day, but I also ran for 75 yards in that game. Happened that I won the MVP, but I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at a lot of people told me that I couldn't pass. And here I was at that time, completed 7 out of 11 for 213. So, for those people, I say, hey, I don't have to say one word, statistics, stats really proves it all, but we came out victorious. Coming back to the campus at the time we won, it didn't really hit in. Sink into our heads that we won the national championship. Here, I wasn't ready for football to end. Here I am ready to start back over again. We have a cycle to go through. But then, you see how the people, the local people here that lived in town really took it. They were very proud of us, and especially the students as well. And it was time to celebrate because we brought the championship back home to you guys. And I want to appreciate all the support you guys given us during the years. And thanks for believing in us. And we did it.
Lou Holtz's fundamental week-by-week approach kept each Notre Dame achievement in perspective, yet never let the Irish lose sight of their ultimate goal. From the last-second victory in the opener against Michigan, through spirited triumphs over Miami, USC, and West Virginia, the Irish did whatever it took to win. Head coach Lou Holtz had no question how his team would be remembered.
I think there are certain things that will really stand out on this squad as history records their achievements. Number one, they achieved it when nobody, and I mean nobody in the country, thought that they could do it. Number two, they did it against one of the most difficult schedules that Notre Dame's ever played. Out of the top 6 teams in the country other than Notre Dame, I believe we defeated 4 of those top 6 teams. But I think the other thing that'll probably stand out was it was a very young football team. Some good senior leadership, but basically a young football team. But most important of all was a football team that liked one another and played with the real, true spirit of Notre Dame. When you talk about the spirit of Notre Dame, this football team believed in it, and they played for it.